Okay, so where are you from?
I'm from Texas originally.
Where at?
I was in like the DFW area.
Okay.
Dallas, Fort Worth.
I've been spending quite a bit of time interviewing a gay Crip from the
A
DFW.
gay Crip. Very interesting.
Shout out Tony Wilrich. Hope to
I'm
have
sure
him.
he's hard as
I, no, he's really just like a regular gay guy who I think was trolling and pretending to be gay or to be a Crip to get some viral
That's
attention.
the last thing I would ever pretend to be. Is
Yeah.
a hood member.
No, you're right. That is a good point. I'm gonna tell him that. But okay, so what was it like growing up out there?
Moving away, I've noticed that it's so conservative and so brainwashy conservative that you don't realize it unless you leave. Like I started doing Playboy when I lived in Texas, and Playboy compared to is like the kiddie pool, but I would still have people be like, "Oh, like that's like you're not upset with yourself that you do this." I'm like, I don't even touch myself. Like
It's photos, essentially, yeah.
it's just like you're not allowed in Playboy. You're not allowed to go past this area. You're not allowed to touch. You're not allowed to spread eagle. So I'm like, what the hell's like? Why would I be upset?
Right.
But yeah, it was a little hard.
What was your life like all through high school and stuff?
Very like isolated. I don't like talking to people. I
Really?
would have my little DS and just play games.
What kind of games were you into?
Pokemon,
You ha-
baby.
really? Because you have a Kirby phone case,
Yes,
which I was very
do.
impressed by.
I love Kirby. I love all Nintendo games. I play just about any Nintendo game on my little DS, but Pokemon specifically for high school.
Really?
Mhm.
You ever play Pokemon Go?
I did actually. I got kicked out of a few places for that because we would go in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We play a little too much.
Well,
still play?
She
Is it
doesn't
fun?
really play anymore. I have been playing for almost the exact amount of time that I've been in a relationship
yeah.
with her.
Really?
I open my app once a day. But we went on like a couple
Damn.
trips that were like Pokemon focused. We're like, we're gonna
Really?
go play.
Montreal and Japan, yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
quit playing when the hype kind of died down. But me and my roommates, we would go out in the middle of the night to business parks because for whatever reason they put them all in the business parks, and we got kicked out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When I look back at that passionate, crazy early era of Pokemon Go, it feels so unbelievably stale now in comparison, but yet
Yeah.
somehow I'm still out here catching shinies.
People in Japan will play it crazy. I'll watch them on the metro. They'll be playing it.
Oh yeah, yeah. In Japan, it's unreal how many businessmen you'll see crowded around a gym.
It's really cute.
Yeah.
I like it.
I want to go back so bad.
But so your family was super conservative for the most part?
Yeah, at first when they found out that I did Playboy, my dad disowned me, and then he like quietly undisowned me.
Really?
Yeah, so now we're chill.
Shun, unshun.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
think,
feel like it's more like they care what other people are going to say about
Yeah.
them instead of them actually caring about what you do?
Yeah,
No.
and then once I started making more money than probably all of them put together, they're like, "Oh, look at our very successful daughter."
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's super
I mean, I also
interesting.
come from like a middle of the grounds, not rich, not poor family. Like grew up pretty poor, and now both my parents are pretty well off. But having like the rich daughter that could pay my mom's rent when she couldn't make it, like now all of a sudden you can't be angry at me.
Wow.
You're gonna hate where the money came from?
Yeah,
No.
that's interesting. Were you a very sexual person like early on? You just
I found the what was it? The one the cable, the softcore porn on television.
Skinamax?
Yeah, I used to
Oh.
find that as a kid, and I would turn the brightness and the volume all the way down on my TV and watch it because I was just so interested.
That's so sneaky. I would have never thought to do that.
Yeah.
I've never used the brightness controls on a TV.
Well, I had a
before.
friend who had that where it was softcore porn where it's like you would see a guy fucking a woman, but you would never see her vagina. You would just
Or
see
the dick.
or the dick. You would see the motion of his body. You might see her boobs, but that was it. And me and my friends would crowd around the TV
It's
during
a
a
lot.
sleepover when we were 13 or 14 and just all be sitting
Oh,
there
mine
with
was
boners.
when I was 10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I hit the
Wow.
sauce pretty early.
Yeah. We were finding porn in the woods when I was 10. Big part of my life.
Magazines.
Damn.
Yeah. Okay. And so you mentioned the Playboy thing. When did that come along?
I have the most cliche story about it. I was a waitress and I got scouted for Playboy at 19.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't believe him until he showed me a pay stub. And then I asked my boyfriend at the time, I'm like, should I do this? Should I? And he's like, yeah, it sounds like something that's really fun for you.
And so they flew you out to LA for you to do a photo shoot, or how did it work?
There was a really well-known photographer at the time that lived in Texas, and he would shoot all my stuff. And then I was beloved like crazy. I got Cyber Girl of the Month, and then I contended for Cyber Girl of the Year, but I talked too much apparently.
Really?
Yeah, I have a big mouth, and the execs don't really like all that.
Big mouth how? Were you being problematic or what?
I just love to talk. And they want a girl that's pretty and quiet and submissible,
they
and probably
do.
won't talk about all the shit that goes on like I'm doing right now.
Wow, that's interesting. What kind of stuff though? Anything in particular that you were talking about?
I mean, nothing bad went down there. I mean, I got my asshole licked randomly without consent at a party by the owner of Digital Playground, but that's about it.
At a Playboy party?
Yeah, it was like an after party.
And how do you non-consensually lick someone's ass?
I had a very short dress, and I remember him talking to me about it, and then he's like, "You've never had your asshole." He's like this French dude. He's like, "You never had your asshole licked?" And I was like, "No." And then the next thing I know, my dress gets thrown up, and there's like a tongue in my asshole. And I
In
was
front
like,
of a bunch of people?
yeah.
Oh God.
Now, would you describe yourself as really upset, or was there a little bit of like, oh, that was such a funny, whimsical French thing for you to do?
It was just so like, it's kind of like I hit the pause button, and I was like, "What just happened?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no real emotion. Like, I honestly could give a shit that it happened. It's not like I'm like sitting in a bathroom crying. But like I was just like, holy shit, I never would have expected that.
Like
was
like a shock that someone wouldn't
Yeah.
ask about
Yeah.
doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like, it's fine. I don't care.
Wow, that is insane.
Yeah, I would never think about licking someone's butt without asking.
But I could just
You know
imagine
what?
being you in that moment and being like, what the fuck? I've never had to think about what my reaction to this
Yeah.
would
Yeah,
be.
I was 19 from like Texas. Like,